Okay. He smelled something. We came out earlier. On one of our trips out earlier, we come out a few times before we take our walk. He was sniffing like crazy, so we had some kind of visitor overnight. It is so nice this morning. It's cool. It's going to get quite warm today. I think the high is 87, something like that. So we're going to get the warms today. But right now it is so nice. I don't know, I'm guessing it might be like 62, 63 degrees. Feels fabulous. This is our morning walk with our poo record. And sharing the road safely with the cars. It's always the plan. Well, that's all smushed down this morning. Well, we did end up going to the country yesterday. Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on. And hold on. He ran his butt off. Was exhausted for the rest of the day whenever we came back. And but anyway, we had a really good time. I did not mind one bit. He was whining and carrying on the whole drive out. And he was entitled. Yes, we were entitled to carry on yesterday. But anyway, so the two of us walked around for a bit. I stood in the creek for a bit in my bare feet, which felt wonderful and just rejuvenating. Come on. And he walked with me. I put my Crocs back on and we walked through the creek together. And anyway, so the way we do it is I usually take like a camp chair and I've always got stuff, a book, knitting, crochet, something, drawing, and it was the weather whenever we got out there. It's still pretty early in the day, and whenever we got out there, I think it was showing, the car was showing the temp was 74, something like that. Sunshiny. We were in, American goldfinches. I think their full name is North American goldfinch. But anyway, it is quite wooded and right by the creek and everything, so very cool. Let's go further down. Come on. Even though the sun was shining, like there's quite the canopy from the trees and everything. So anyway, and I always set my camp chair up by the creek, and then we'll walk a little bit together, and then I usually go plant myself, and then he goes off and comes back and goes off. Good location, buddy. So he'll run and investigate and then come back and tell me about it. Run and investigate. And so that's how we usually spend our time. Well, I kept hearing something further back in the woods. And there's all kinds of animals in this area. The main thing, it wasn't that I was concerned about anything coming to see me so much as him seeing something and wanting to give chase off through the woods. So whenever we go out to the country, he wears his orange vest. Okay, come on. Just so he's not mistaken for anything else. Plus, of course, he has his tags on and all that. And anyway, and he's coming back and reporting to me. And while we're talking, he's telling me all about his latest adventure. And I'm listening to that. I hear the noise that's facing me, but to his back, because he's sitting in front of me. And he comes poking around, walking down the creek, poking around, and it's this adorable, very young deer. And Bravo will chase deer. I have been able to call him off whenever I've needed to, a few times. But he is a dog. And anyway, so really didn't want to take the chance. And the deer was so adorable because it's just craning its neck, and then it'd take a step closer and crane its neck some more, and was very curious about Bravo and I. Well, I wanted to make more noise than the deer so that Bravo didn't turn around and notice the deer, and I grabbed the handle on his harness. I mean, I didn't grab it, I was just holding on to it. Bravo didn't even know I had a hold of it. Because we'd already been out there for a while and wasn't planning on staying much longer. And I really wasn't planning on spending an hour or two trying to find him if he chased a deer. So anyway, and so I'm then I start talking louder and louder, talking to Bravo, but also trying to get a message across to the deer to leave quietly, which it finally did, and Bravo never noticed. But I could still hear it walking back through the woods, and in the opposite direction of the car. I had about 50 yards from where I sat to get to the car. And so, talking to Bravo, come on, talking very loudly the whole way to mask the sound of the deer walking back through the woods. And we made it and got back to the car, and Bravo was ready to leave. He was a tired puppy. But it was like, oh. I was doing loud conversations. Anybody who had been witnessing it, what is that crazy lady doing? Because I was just talking out loud about, I'm talking loudly. Well, the water's gone down, almost back down to normal. Still a little bit up, but not by much. Okay. But when we go out there, we are very aware, because people who either live out in that area or have camps out in that area have had damage done, like to their cabins. Whenever they've been away, they've returned and found damage that obviously was black bear. And there's coyote and bobcat everywhere. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Bobcat don't concern me because they're very shy. No, we're not going to look in there. We're going to leave that alone. Bravo. Come on. We're going to leave that alone. No. Now, Bravo. Hey. I don't care what you smell. We're going. Come on. Let's go. Thank you. And so anyway, there have been bobcat, I guess, everywhere I've lived, and they tend to be shy, I mean, you kind of have to invade their space, it seems. They don't choose to, they're not an aggressive animal, has been my experience. But anyway, plus I met one very friendly one as a child that was wild. But anyway, come on, let's go. That I thought was a cat in the middle of the night. It wasn't. Didn't know until the moon came out from behind some clouds that I was toting a bobcat. But anyway, Bravo, you're gonna get swished like a bug. Get out of the road. My goodness. May you not find whatever you smell. Yeah. So anyway, I was very happy that it was a little deer, because I knew the potential for something coming out of the woods was just about anything. And I may have shared this story before, over here, that the DNR Here, DNR is the Department of Natural Resources. You know, down south it'd be like the game warden, you know, whatever. And boy, those dogs are barking tails in the air. Come on, come on, let's go. They were barking at chickens. They weren't barking at you. I think they do that more mornings than not. Chickens are in one yard and the dogs are in another yard. But anyway, so the DNR in this area, I know this was true. I guess this happened, yeah, this happened 10 years ago. So I know this was true 10 years ago because when I related it to friends, they all said the same thing. You know, DNR will tell you there aren't any mountain lions in this area. And a couple of funny things. So anyway, so I saw a mountain lion. I thought it was a young deer. I was walking my dog way out in the country. My little Jack Russell, who's been gone a number of years now that I miss every day. But anyway, so Claude and I were out walking, as we did every day, whenever we were living at this cabin. And we saw deer constantly. You know, they came right up to the cabin. And the only thing that was really the bane of my existence out there were the ding-dong groundhogs and the mice. They were huge mice. But anyway, boy, that nose is still going this morning. So he and I are walking, and there are separate pastures on this property. And look at our fields. They really weren't pastures being used or anything, but they were fields. I think and they kept them mowed. Didn't really harvest hay or anything, but they kept them mowed. The owners did. And I'm looking, I stopped. He and I were walking. And I stopped because over in this one field, on the other side of it, the field itself was catty-corner to the one that we were walking in. We were walking on the drive. And over at the tree line, it looks like a young deer at the tree line. You know, kind of hanging under just the edge of the trees along the edge of the open field. Nope. And, no, Bravo, now come on. Nope. There you go. Good. And so anyway, so I told him we would just walk quietly because I didn't want to bother the deer. Then the deer turned and walked away from us. So it would have been walking parallel, you know, with us in a separate field. Come on. And whenever it started walking, that was no tail of a deer. It was a tail of a very large cat rather than a young deer. And the tail swaying very low, almost the length of the cat. So the small deer was actually a very big cat. It was a mountain lion. So I really, at this point, don't want Claude to make a noise. And this dog and I, some people have experienced that kind of connection with an animal. Anyway, he and I had that. And he knew that this was a moment for stealth. Because at this point, we're about 100 yards at least from the cabin. And so we start walking back, and we are walking backward. And what Claude would do, it was like he understood what I wanted. He would take a few steps with me walking backwards, and then he would turn around and look. And then he would walk a few steps with me walking back, because I didn't want to take my eyes off this thing. And because my understanding, I've never been stalked by a big cat, you will not hear them. And they will come from behind. So anyway, so we did make it back to the cabin. I don't think either of us have ever walked so quickly, quietly before or since that time. And got back to the cabin, and we did have a phone, and I immediately called the owners, because that is where the cat was headed, was toward their house. And so it was hilarious, because I called and had her on the phone, and so I wanted to let you know I just saw a big cat, a mountain lion, and it was walking toward your place, and I knew they had a lot of livestock, different kinds of animals. And it was so hilarious, because she immediately yelled through the house, "I told you!" So anyway, obviously this had been a discussion between she and her husband, and he had doubted her having heard something and thinking it was a big cat. Well, anyway, so that's the story. That's what happened. They never saw it that day. I never saw it again. So anyway, as I related this story to friends, and they all pretty much had the same attitude of, yeah, well, call DNR and tell them about it. They'll tell you, we don't have mountain lions in this region of the country. But out of all of those, because just about, no, there is never food outside for you. No. Ooh, smelling the gas this morning. Anyway, that many people have seen mountain lions in the region, all right? They were like, yeah, my wife saw one, you know. I mean, it's borderline same as like seeing alien stuff. But the funniest story out of all of them that I heard was one, I don't know what this is. Come on. One woman, she was talking about, she was going to visit her mother. I believe it was her mother. So anyway, she drives out to her mother's house. And whenever she gets there, and she saw something whenever she pulled up to her, her mother's place. She saw that there was something dead in the ditch. Come on. And whenever she goes inside talking to her mom is like, good spot, Robert. Yeah, I've got that dead deer's out in the ditch. And she was concerned because, that you need to call DNR or whatever, because anyway, they'll start stinking. Especially if they're right in front of your residence. So anyway, and so my friend goes out and looks, and it's not a deer that's been hit, it's a mountain lion that's been hit. She calls DNR, and she starts off by saying, okay, I want to report a mountain lion. They immediately say, there are no mountain lions in this area, da-da-da-da-da. And she was laughing when she was telling me about it. She said, well, you need to tell that to the dead one out in the ditch in front of my mom's place. That he's not supposed to be here. She said within half an hour, officers showed up, loaded it up, and were gone. Gee whiz. I can almost hear Jack Nicholson in the background. You can't handle the truth. Oh, good grief. So anyway, all we saw was a very young deer, no mountain lions, no bear, and that was good. Well, I saw it, and even better is the fact that Bravo did not. Oh, and then our young deer that keeps on showing up and feeding back here. Sometimes we sit over in this field over here, and there's a couple of groundhogs right down there that we see a lot. But the other day, and whenever we see her over there, she just and we're going out, for Bravo to make a trip outside, she'll just look at us, and I think every time I see her is, please stay over there, don't try to cross the road, which she hasn't. But a couple of days ago, she showed up and she had a male friend with her, and I'm like, oh great, now there's 2 of you. And he did the same thing. He was less interested in us. It was like she brought him to see the show. Hey, watch this. Look at these over here. He's like, whatever. Her curiosity does concern me, though. I don't want her to get hurt. Here we go. Or anybody to have a wreck and damage, get hurt themselves. You got a smile? Nope? Okay.